We could be bigger today. I don't want to say that to depress anyone, but we have to realise that this is a national demonstration for Tommy Robinson. This is him attempting to relaunch his campaign. He's got his nasty mates from all around the country coming down, and still they look weak. Still they look weak, they're small, and we know that we're bigger than them. And when we stand together, we're bigger than them. And there is a reason why the far right is weak, even though they've got, they're being fanned by the flames of the racism that's coming out of the Tory party, the upping of Islamophobia and so on, and yet they're still not breaking through. It's because every time they rear their heads, anti-fascists and anti-racists are there to oppose them. And we know that every time Tommy Robinson has tried to descend on London or launch his racist campaigns, when he tried to do the Football Lads Alliance, we smashed them. When he tried to do the EDL, we smashed them, and we'll smash them again. Okay, so without further ado, we've got some really great speakers today to represent right across the movement and right across the anti-racist movement. And to start us off, I'm really delighted to announce Ragdad Al-Tikriti from the Muslim Association of Britain.
Brothers, sisters, friends, Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you all. Our presence here today, regardless of the elements that restricted a bigger gathering, is a testament to our resilience and our refusal to be marginalized. We stand united in the heart of London to declare that we will not be silenced, we will not be intimidated, and we will not be defeated by hate. The past few months have shown us that structures based on oppression, hate and subjugation will always fall. Those who represent these structures will never win. When Suella Braverman called us a hate mob for opposing genocide, she was removed from her position. When Rishi Sunak tried to shut us down for calling out his government's complicity with the Zionist genocidal regime, his party began its descent towards the biggest electoral loss in decades. Michael Gove labelled us extremist. He too is now gone. And when Labour spent weeks justifying war crimes and expelling Muslim members, it is now in a panic frenzy about those organising against them. Our message is clear. Those who side with hate, with genocide and with oppression will fall. Regardless of who you are, history will not be kind to you. We are here to continue mobilizing, to continue organizing. They fear our strength. They fear our numbers. What they don't realize is that we only grow stronger with every attack on our communities. We must be absolutely resolute in our common values and principles. We must refuse to accept those who are complicit in the face of oppression. We will not wait for change. We will make it happen. To those who think they can intimidate us, know this: you will fail. Your marches, your chants, your policies and your symbols of hate cannot break us. We are fortified by our principles and our unbreakable solidarity. We are a community that transcends the boundaries you try to impose. We are the future. We are what a better tomorrow looks like. Know that we are not alone in this fight. We stand alongside people of all faiths and backgrounds who understand that an attack on one of us is an attack on all of us. Together we form an unbreakable front against oppression and racism. Our fight is not just for ourselves, but for future generations. We owe it to them to keep fighting, to keep pushing for the world we know is possible. So let us continue to organize, to mobilize, to come together, because our fight is quite literally a fight for our future, a fight free of oppression structures and its allies, a future of liberation and justice for all. Thank you, and may peace be upon you all.
Thank you so much. I think that's a really important message, that together we are strongest and we have to stand united against all forms of oppression. So without further ado, our next speaker will be David Rosenberg, lifelong anti-racist and member of the Jewish Socialist Group.
Thank you very much. Greetings from the Jewish Socialist Group, a group founded in the 1970s when the National Front were growing rapidly and holding provocative and intimidating marches through inner city areas where Caribbean and Asian immigrants were eking a living in the face of widespread discrimination. Those who founded the Jewish Socialist Group had cut their own teeth politically as teenagers in working class Jewish communities in the 1930s, battling the twin evils of poverty and fascism. They and we active in the Jewish Socialists today have always understood that link between poverty and fascism. How fascism offers the most false, deceptive and crude answers to ordinary working class people who are genuinely struggling. Fascism promises to restore people's pride in who they are, offering them ultra-nationalism, a flag and someone to hate, in place of food on the table, a secure and well-paid job, good quality secure housing in the homes they need, and a better standard of living for all. And when you look at things this way, you can see how useful are the pathetic individuals who become figureheads of far-right movements to those who want to maintain a capitalist economy where the rich increase their wealth by keeping the poor poor. It's all too easy to focus on those figureheads that become leaders of far-right movement, and you do wonder who staffs their quality control department. But it's more important to understand the economic and political role that these movements play, whether they call themselves British Union of Fascists, National Front, British Movement, Britain First, BNP, EDL or anything else. Their honest name is UND. It's kind of ultra-nationalist dupes who help maintain capitalism and misery. Anti-fascism is part of our group's DNA, and it will always be central to our work. Jewish people have had long experience of combating fascism through the 20th century, and we know that every far-right movement in Britain through that century, and in this one, has won support from at least two classes. They recruit foot soldiers from the more impoverished, but they're financed by a much more comfortable class. Every prominent fascist movement in Germany, Britain, Chile, Spain has been partly or significantly enabled by right-wing mainstream capitalism. When the BNP had their temporary breakthrough in Barking and Dagenham between 2006 and 2010, and they won 12 local councillors overnight, and they put up more than 400 candidates nationally in the 2010 general election, that work wasn't financed by the struggling poor in Barking and Dagenham. So we focus our anti-fascist work not just on combating them on the streets when they show themselves, but by working together to bring the range of communities threatened by fascists into a common struggle against them. And at the same time, we challenge the economic and political conditions that give rise to them. We seek to build anti-fascist majorities in local areas around the country, and that means bringing together a movement, black and white, cross-generational, a movement committed to challenging racism and bigotry in every form, and that refuses to let our enemies divide us. And every effort is being made to divide us, not least when the execrable Suella Braverman was Home Secretary, trying to prove she could be more hardline than Priti Patel, and encouraging Tommy Robinson and his ragbag of followers to invade central London, to intimidate the vibrant multicultural movement that has held powerful marches against the genocide in Gaza and the British government's complicity in it. Our group is proud to be part of the Jewish bloc that has had a significant presence on every one of those national marches, supporting justice for Palestine and visibly giving the lie to those who say central London is unsafe for Jews. But anti-fascists live in dangerous times. Look across Europe. There'll be elections for the European Parliament in a few days, and it's forecast that far-right parties who combine ultra-nationalism with Islamophobia, anti-black, anti-Roma racism, anti-Semitism, anti-migrant and anti-refugee sentiment. They are the ones who will grow in strength and influence. And there's most likely a new united far-right bloc led by Meloni and Le Pen that will emerge as one of the biggest blocs. And look over the water to America, where Donald Trump, despite his setback, could win power again. Trump has spent most of his life steeped in close friendships with white supremacists, anti-Semites, and is a rabid Islamophobe. And yet in recent days, you will have heard both Keir Starmer and David Lammy calmly say they will be happy to sit down with him as if a Labour government, as expected, comes into government. We know that the Tories have had many decades of deepening and finessing their racist nationalism. It's galling to see the Labour Party, who still have many good anti-racists at the grassroots, being led by people so committed to Atlanticism, whichever far-right jerk will be running America. It's galling to see them pushing the most vacuous Union Jack-waving nationalism here while trying to oust black and brown left-wingers in the party, and to see how they've cheapened the fight against real anti-Semitism by using false accusations as a political football in a factional fight against the left. And it's galling to see them just as wedded to the Tories' "Stop the Boat" slogan that shamefully treats refugees as a problem rather than assets to our society. As Jewish socialists, we stand with all victims of racism, and we are mightily glad that Diane, Abbott and Faisal Shaheen are fighting back. And we take inspiration from all who are fighting back against racism, against nationalism, against fascism across the globe, for a world without borders, a world based on humanity, equality and solidarity. No pasaran.
Okay, thank you so much. I probably should have done this earlier, but my name's Samir Ali.